With the Formula 3 season coming to an end and the Formula 2 season coming to the final stretch of the season, now I thought was a great time to make my... Like I did last year, I'll just be simply predicting who will fill each seat on the 2026 Formula 2 grid. So without further ado, going in teams order, first is Invicta. I would really strongly doubt that Leonardo Fornaroli will return for a second season of F2 next year, after how well he's currently doing at the top of the championship. And with Roman Stanek currently in his third season of F2, I doubt he'll return too and end his combined 6-year-long career in F3 and F2. So I think again we'll see the F3 champion join Invicta for the second season in a row. The champion, of course, being Rafael Camara. A few years ago, it would have been pretty obvious to predict a Ferrari Jr. going to Prema, but that strong connection seems to have ended after we saw Camara join Trident instead in F3 this year. And the other seat I reckon will be filled by Sami Megatunov. I originally had Gabriele Mini down for this seat as Invicta and Alpine Juniors just seemed to go together, but then I remembered how Invicta don't get two pretty strong drivers in both seats, so Megatunov seems likely here based off that. Apologies to Sami for that massive backhand, but I just had to explain my logic. He gives me the vibe that he'll do a second season of F2, and Invicta seem unlikely to get two rookies in my opinion. There's also a chance that Camara and Megatunov become teammates towards the end of this current F2 season, if that's already not been announced by the time this video is out. Next up is Campos. Arvid Lindblad's 2026 plans seem to change every week, whether he's racing for Red Bull, V-Carb, F2 again, or reserve driver, so who knows anymore. So I'm going to predict he'll be replaced at Campos by another Red Bull Junior driver, Nikola Solov. The Bulgarian driver has had a mega year in F3 this season, as he currently sits third in the championship with Campos, so it seems likely he'll continue with them in the next category up. And I also reckon Pepe Marti will leave Campos at the end of this season, so to fill his seat will be another Red Bull Junior, Tim Tramnitz. Campos now have a really strong relationship with Red Bull, so it's not crazy to think they'll put another Red Bull Junior in that car. I do wonder if we'll one day see an actual Campos livery on these new F2 cars. Next team is MP Motorsport. Surely this is going to be Richard Verschoor's last year for real this time, but honestly, who actually knows at this point? I've predicted that he won't do a 6th season of F2, and his replacement will be Mari Boyer. The Spaniard currently sits second in F3 and has raced for MP quite a few times before in the past, so this seems logical to me. And I reckon Ollie Goethe will remain at the Dutch team too next year for his second season of Formula 2. I'd just like to quickly announce that I've just created a Twitter account so I can spread more truth and chat to more of you, so everyone go and follow. The next team is Hitech. It's very tricky to predict what Browning will be doing next year because he is doing very well in F2 this year, but isn't quite close enough to be considered in the title fight at the moment. Similar to Lindblad, I think it massively depends on how their final few rounds go, and Luke being a Williams Jr. is annoying, as the F1 team seem to have Albon and Sainz locked in for a while now. So I'm just going to go with he won't return next year due to his success this season. So anyway, I predict his replacement will be current driver Joshua Dirksen. The Paraguayan driver gives me third year F2 vibes, so I think he'll leave AIX for a better team in Hitech. And to partner the Paraguayan will be Gabriele Mini. The Alpine Junior driver has raced for Hitech in the past in F3 and Formula Regional, so this could happen, as he surely would do another year of F2 after a pretty underwhelming debut year, it has to be said. The next team is Prema Racing. I've already mentioned how I think Gabriele Mini will change teams, so to replace him, I think will be Ritomo Miyata. I can see the Toyota-backed driver doing a third year of F2 and will once again change teams to perhaps have better luck this time round. Only thing is, Miyata will be turning 27 next year, so to be racing in a junior series at that age is, something. And to partner the Japanese driver, I reckon will be Sebastian Montoya, who will remain at the team again for 2026. This feels odd, as Prema always sign drivers who have raced for them in the past, something which Miyata has not done. Next up is Dams. Jack Crawford surely has to move on and won't do a 4th season of F2. He's currently second in the standings and is rumoured with an outside shot to join Cadillac in F1 or join Formula E next year. His replacement will be a current F2 driver in Dino Beganovic. The Swede raced for Dams in the final 2 F2 rounds at the end of 2024 and looked pretty quick. So my logic is that he'll go back to the team that he was fast with. And alongside him, I predict will be a graduate from F3 in Martinia Stenshorn. The Norwegian driver currently racing for Hitech in F3 confirmed to Norwegian News that he will be racing in F2 for 2026, just not with Hitech this time. So Dams seems like a pretty possible destination for him. Next team is ART. Victor Martins just has to leave F2 for 2026. He has had no luck at all in the past 2 years, so what actually is the point anymore in him staying there? I predict his replacement will be Laurens van Hoopen. The Dutch driver currently sits in 11th in F3 and looks likely to move up categories after 2 years of F3, so I think he'll continue with ART for a 5th consecutive season with the French team. And to race alongside him, I think will be Pepe Marti. The Spaniard just gives me the vibes that he'll do a 3rd season of F2, and this time he'll leave Campos for the first time in his junior career. Another potential candidate for the 2nd seat could be Kush Miney. This is purely because Miney gives me the vibes of doing a 4th season of F2, but I also can't be sure of this vibe, so I'm just throwing his name in there. Quickly, can everyone subscribe please right now? Thank you. The next team is Rodin. Alex Dunn looks likely to leave F2 at the end of the year after a mighty rookie year, so I think he'll be replaced by current F3 Rodin driver, Callum Voisin. The Brit has not had the year he would have liked this season in F3, but nevertheless, I still think he'll progress up to F2 with the same team he's raced for throughout his whole junior career. His teammate I hope will not be Amaury Cordeel, and instead could be Colton Herta. Yes, that's right. 9-time IndyCar winner Colton Herta joining the F2 grid for 2026. Yes, you heard me right. Okay, so this script has changed many times over the course of the last week or so. When I originally made these predictions, Colton was only rumoured to be joining F2 in 26, but I just thought this was a load of rubbish at the time and didn't include him in this list. But then gradually the rumours got stronger and stronger, and Herta wasn't denying the links to F2 either, so I made an honourable mention section just for him, as I still refuse to believe Colton Herta would actually race in F2 in 2026. Then I think the tipping point was that he posted a video on his Instagram where he addressed where he'll be racing in 2026 until the video cuts to a rickroll, just like it's 2019 again. So yes, now finally I've included him in my predicted 2026 grid with Rodin. Knowing this though, I'm sure he will have already been announced to be racing for the team by the time this video comes out. The next team is AIX. This one is a little easier as they've already confirmed Emerson Fittipaldi. No, not the former F1 world champion, but his son instead. Yes, that's right, this is his 18-year-old son, who actually is the uncle to Pietro and Enzo Fittipaldi, who are both older than him. But anyway, back to the predictions. To race alongside him, I reckon will be Brad Benavides. The American has actually already raced for AIX in F2 back in 2023, when it was called PHM. He left halfway through the championship though, and has found himself back in F3 this year. I reckon he'll want to be back in F2 rather than doing another year of F3, so AIX again seems like a likely destination for him. The penultimate team is Trident. I've already predicted Sami Megatunev to switch teams, so I predict his replacement will be Charlie Wirtz. The Austrian driver is currently competing for Trident in F3. After 2 years of F3, move up to F2 seems likely for Wirtz, and with the same team. Alongside him I say will be Tassanapol Inthrapuvasak. After 2 years of F3, the Thai driver will probably make the step up, and Trident seems like a possible destination for him in my eyes. And the final team is Van Amersfoort. I doubt John Bennett will return to the championship, so to replace him I think will be Noel Leon. The Mexican driver raced for the Dutch team in F3 last year, where he was pretty decent, and after 2 years in F3 a move up the ladder could be likely for Leon. And to partner him will be an all-Mexican lineup, with Rafael Villagomez remaining at the team for a 3rd consecutive season in F2 with Van Amersfoort. Villagomez just seems like he's content racing in F2 with the Dutch team, so I just don't see him going anywhere. I previously had Santiago Ramos down for this seat, but he's just pulled out the final round in F3, which usually indicates funding issues, so I doubt he'll move up to F2 now. Just want to quickly mention some honourable mention drivers who could be likely to race in F2 in 2026, but I just couldn't find room for them on this list. This could include current drivers Luke Browning, Arvid Lindblad, Kush Miney, Kian Shields and Roman Stanek. Current F3 drivers Tuukka Tappinen, Roman Belinsky and Teofil Nile, and a separate not racing this year driver Christian Mansell. So that has been my F2 2026 grid predictions. I've done these a lot earlier than I did last year, which makes it a lot harder with less rumours flying around to go off. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, no other drivers except Fittipaldi have been confirmed. Do comment with any insider rumours you guys have about the 2026 F2 grid. I'm sure one of you out there will have some precious knowledge to share. So with all that being said, do leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. And do follow me on Twitter.